Welcome. I hope that you are doing well and that you are enjoying your use of Brightspace. I like this learning system a lot. It takes a little bit of time to learn, but I found that this summer I've quickly made that time back because it's also much more efficient to use than our previous learning system was. One of the features I like is that students are allowed to submit their assignments through Brightspace, and then you can go in and retrieve those assignments and also grade them right on Brightspace and evaluate them and get them back to the students. This offers quite a few advantages for us as faculty members. First of all, it reduces paper clutter in your office. I always have students turn in brief assignments on paper. That's what I've done in the past, and if you've been to my office, you know that that has made my working space a disaster area. So I'm going to try to keep everything on Brightspace now in the computer, and so it will all be electronic, and maybe my office will look decent. You also don't need to worry that you're going to lose a student's assignment, especially if the student hands it in later. And perhaps more to the point, you don't have to worry about the student not doing it, but still insisting that they did and thinking that you lost it. You can always go into Brightspace. If it's there, they handed it in. If it's not, they didn't. Also, Brightspace allows you to type comments right on the assignments that the students submit, and if you're like me, your typing is a lot quicker and neater than your writing by hand. And finally, the grade entry is instantaneous as well. So when I used to grade assignments by hand, after I was done, I would have to go back and look through the assignments, scroll up and down a column of my spreadsheet, and enter all the grades in manually. As I'm going to show you in a minute, with Brightspace, you can enter each grade into the electronic gradebook as you mark that essay. Now, at the same time, I'll be the first to admit that there are a few disadvantages with doing this, but I'm going to show you how to overcome those disadvantages with an iPad. One of those disadvantages is that I find papers are difficult to read on a computer screen. And so especially when students would turn in longer papers or essays, but even shorter assignments, I would find myself printing them out so I could have them right on my desk in front of me, and that kind of negated a lot of the advantages, especially advantage number one. Secondly, if you're going to grade completely on the computer, you can only grade when your computer is with you. Okay, and the third disadvantage is that sometimes you need to mark things up with a pen. I still like to grade papers with pens so I can circle words, cross out words that they've misspelled and write in the correct spelling or the correct grammar that they have gotten wrong. And I like to still sometimes write comments by hand in the margin. If you're in a math or a science related field where students are writing equations and so forth, this is absolutely necessary. However, again, I'm going to show you how an iPad with a stylus can be used to get around these disadvantages. So first, I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how to grade assignments in Brightspace using the computer, using the Brightspace website, and then I'm going to also go and show how you can do it on an iPad with a stylus in a way that will negate some of these disadvantages that I've mentioned. Okay, here's my course, and it doesn't really consist of anything except for some assignments that I've set up so I can demonstrate the grading feature. Let's say one of the assignments you have had the students work on is just an assignment titled paper, and now you want to go in and look at those assignments and grade them. First of all, there are at least 3 different ways in Brightspace that you can get to those submissions. One is to click on it in the course content and then go over here and click on Go to Assignment. Okay, and this is going to show you all of the submissions that have been turned in for that paper so far. The second way to get to this spot, if you are starting from the front page again, is that you can go up here, click under Assessments, click under Assignments, and again, let's say it's the assignment called Paper is the one you want to grade. So go down here, click on it, click on Paper, and this will bring you to this spot. This is a second way to get to the same spot. Okay, there's a third way to get to that same place as well where you can access the assignments, and that is to use something called Quick Eval. So again, go to Assessments, go down to the bottom of that assessment, hit Quick Eval. And what's nice about Quick Eval is that it shows all of the things in one spot that you have assigned, and it shows you how many students have turned in those particular assignments, how many are done, how many of them in this column you have evaluated, and whether you have turned the evaluations back to the students. In other words, whether you have published them, to use the language of Brightspace. So let's go here and click on Evaluate All. Okay. And so that's going to bring up the papers of the students that have collected. So once you get to this page, you can click on the paper. And you'll notice that it's a little slow opening up, but eventually it does come. And what I like to do is click right here to toggle it to full screen, and then you can go down and you can read the paper this way. If you want to leave a comment in the paper, click on this box right here, go down to where you want to leave the comment, and then type your comment here. Okay. The other thing you can do if you want is that you can draw on it. For example, you might want to highlight something that they've written. You can go highlight and highlight that because you like what the student has said and so forth. And there's even a function here that will allow you to do some drawing. So if you're good at writing, you can draw lines or whatever you want. Okay, and once you want to go back to the other screen, you can either go up here and click on this X, or you can hit Escape. So I will hit Escape, and that will take you back to what the screen originally looked at. Now, once you have read the assignment and you are done doing what you want to do with it, I've got this assignment set up so that it's worth 100 points. So let's say this person got an 87. You can type an 87 in the box. Down here, you can come to this box and you can type more overall feedback to the student. Now, to finalize the grading of the paper, come down to the bottom of the screen and you have two choices. I like to click on Save Draft. What that will do is save all of your comments and save the grade, but it will not yet release the grade to the student. That way, you can wait until you have graded all of the students' assignments, and if you look at your grades and you feel that they are too high or too low, and you maybe haven't been as accurate with them as you would like to be, you can go back and readjust the grades. If you click on Publish, okay, that is going to immediately put the grade in the grade book if you've got it set up to do that, and it will release the score to the students. So I like to hit Save Draft. Okay, and then you can come up to the top of the page, click on this right arrow, and there we go. That's going to bring the next student paper up. And so let's open David's paper. And it looks like David wrote a paper on the book of Isaiah back in the fall of 2013. And so we can do the same thing here. If we want to do some annotations, leave some comments, click on the annotations button, click right here, or either here on this comment to leave a note, or you can do it like this. You can click on the text note. That will type your comment right on the paper, and it will look like that when you give it back to the student. When you type this kind of sticky note comment, That is going to put a little number right at this location here in the text, and then it's going to put a footnote at the bottom of the page telling the student that that's what you were trying to comment on right here. I don't think we can see that, but that's what the student is going to get back. And again, if you would rather avoid that, you can just go like this. You can adjust the font and even the color of it. So if we want to do it red, and you'd rather do a note here, the note will go in the paper again right where you type it. Okay. And I think there's a way to change the color of the note itself and not just the color of the background. Okay, so you can do the same thing for this student. The student did a little better, and so he'll get a 95. Again, I'm going to save the draft rather than publish it right back to the student. Okay, then click in the top to go on to the next student, and again, Eddie wrote his paper on Amos 2. I'm not going to make any comments on that, but we'll just say he didn't have a very good day, so he got a C minus, and we'll save his draft as a C minus. Click the arrow again. See, that was user 3 of 3. In other words, you have graded 3 out of the 3 submissions that have been handed in. Did I save his draft? I'm not sure. I'll make sure I did. Okay, then click. Then what we're going to do is go back to Quick Eval. Okay, and you can see we have graded we have graded 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3 have been done. 3 out of 3 have been evaluated, and then we haven't published them. So let's say we are happy with the grades that we have given. So we're going to go down here and we're going to click on Publish All. Confirm that you want them to receive your feedback and your grade. Click Yes. And there the grades have been published. Once you've published the grades, if you go to the grade book, you can see that all of the grades are there, and there's the grade that each individual got. One thing that I like about this grade book is that you can go from the grade book directly to the paper that somebody has submitted. So in our previous learning management system, at the end of the semester, sometimes I had given the people some grace and said, get in all your old homework assignments. And then I would have to go to the grade book and see which ones were blank. And if there was no grade beside an item, then I would have to go back to that list of items and check and see whether that student had not turned it in or whether they had turned it in and I hadn't graded it. Okay, in this case, if there is a little picture of a computer there, okay, with an orange dot, that means that they have submitted something that you have not yet graded. So here the picture of the computer has no orange dot. That's because they have made a submission that you have already graded. But over here, that means they have made a submission that you have not graded yet. You can click on that right from the grade book, and boom, it's going to take you to that student's submission. You can go through the same process we just went through. Okay, one more final thing that I want to show you. As I said, we got to that paper by going through the Quick Eval, but let's say you wanted to go through assignments like this. If you click on assignments, again in this tab right up here, this is where it will take you. You can click on paper right here. This is the one we were just looking at. And it's going to bring up a list of all of the documents that all the students have already submitted. Again, you can just click on the one you want to look at, and that will bring you right to the screen where you grade it. Now, you can either retract the grade you've given somebody in case you really change your mind. Even though you've given it to them, you can take it back to change it, or you can update it. So just because you have published it doesn't mean that you can't change it, but you have to be aware that the student has probably already had access to it if you published it. And so if you're going to change the grade, especially at that point, you're probably going to be getting some emails and some questions if the student had noticed it. Okay, so that's how the grading function works on Brightspace. I hope you find it as helpful as I have. Okay, I promised you that I was going to show you how to use an iPad to do some of this same grading with the Brightspace app. This is pretty slick because it allows you all of the advantages of grading on the computer, but none of the disadvantages. It seems to be a little bit faster in opening the papers. You don't have to read the assignment on a computer screen at a distance. You can put the iPad on the desk right in front of you and it will seem just like you're reading it on paper. You can also take your iPad with you, obviously, and grade your assignments anywhere. And if you have a stylus or an Apple Pen, you can use that to mark up the assignments as well. In order to get the app, you're going to go to your App Store and you're going to search for D2L. D2L, Desire to Learn, is the name of the company that produces Brightspace. So it's the D2L grader that you're going to search for. When that comes up, you will download it onto your iPad. It will take just a few minutes while it downloads. Okay, and then we'll open it. Okay. And so the first thing you're going to need to do is to log on to your courses by clicking there. And in this box, in the white box, you are going to type lms.presby.edu. Click on Connect. Okay, here's where you're going to enter your credentials. First of all, your username. Okay, and once you've entered your password, you can sign on. And so what it will do is download all of the assignments that you need to grade in all of your courses. I'm not sure why I'm listed as an instructor on a psychology course. I haven't looked at that one at all, but here are my courses. The one we're using for this demonstration is the top one that says Von der Gees Dummy Course. You can also just get a look at what my New Testament course and then my Old Testament course will look like. And so let's say in the dummy course we want to grade paper 2. We just push on it and there the names come up. So let's grade the first one, push on the first one. And there comes the paper. I think it comes faster than it does on the Brightspace site on the computer. And so here you can just go through and grade the paper like you would. You can be sitting on the sofa and holding your iPad to grade it. You can put the iPad on your desk in front of you. So in a lot of ways, it really is even more efficient than using the computer. A lot easier. Some of these signs along the right-hand side are used for adding annotations and comments. The hand with the squiggly line, if you push that, that will allow you to draw a line either with your hand or with your Apple Pencil or stylus if you have one of those. You can also write comments in the margin, and what I like to do is increase the size of it before I write. Whoops. So there I was trying to scroll over and I drew a line, so I can go hit erase. And we'll erase that line, so I should close this and then I can scroll over with one finger. If I want to scroll while this is open, I have to use 2 fingers to do it. Okay, so I like to increase the size, and then you can write a comment in the margin. Okay. And then if you close it before you make it smaller again, that makes sure that the comment stays in the right spot. So you can write comments that are fairly small. You'll see ultimately the font is about the same size as a type font, but yet it's going to be legible. And so you can continue grading, making comments on particular words. You can also highlight words. If you want to add a comment in a certain spot like we did on the Brightspace version, just click on this icon right here and then click on the screen where you want to put the comment. You can type your comment with the iPad keyboard. If you have a regular Bluetooth keyboard on your iPad, that makes it go even more quickly. But what I like to do is this. And unfortunately, I was silent there for a minute because I can't record my voice when I'm using Siri to talk, but that's how this iPad really does make it efficient to do your grading, because you can use a pen, you can enter comments by voice or by typing and so forth. So we'll close the keyboard, close this comment. When you're ready to enter your grade, click on this little button, the white button in the black that's pointing to the left, and click in the box to get the cursor in the box. Put a grade there. Once again, down here you can type feedback in this box, or again you could do it with voice recognition or with a Bluetooth keyboard and so forth. Once you're done, you're happy with your grade, you're happy with your feedback, go to the very top and push this little white arrow that points to the right, right under here on the battery. That will bring up the next one. Oops, it looks like Eddie submitted a math assignment here, so we can see how he would do that, and he doesn't really know what 3 plus 4 is. And 4 times 5 is what this is supposed to be, so we'll give him the right answer there. And Eddie didn't have a very good day in math, so we'll just have to give him a 50 for effort, for an F. And this error message that comes up doesn't seem to mean anything. It suggests that it couldn't save some data, but everything is there that I need, and so I just ignore it. I don't think it's supposed to come up. Same thing, we'll give another grade to this paper. Click the arrow again, and that will take us back to the list of submissions. And when we click the arrow to move from one submission to the other, we were just saving the draft. And so if you want to publish it, which means the student will now have access to the grade you have assigned and to the written feedback you've given, just click Publish All, confirm it, and there you go. If you want to go back to your folders with your assignments, click on this, and now you can choose the next one to grade. So I hope that if you have access to an iPad, you can download this app. This really makes the grading of assignments efficient and easy. You have all the advantages of doing it on the computer, but also overcome some of those disadvantages that come with the computer and with the portability of the iPad and the ability to write on it. Okay, so thanks for watching this part of it. Okay, now we're back to our course, and if we go to the gradebook, there we go. We're going to see that both of the items we graded, both the paper that we graded on the computer and paper 2 that we graded on the iPad, are already there. Just enter each grade as you grade the item, and no need to go back and enter them in a spreadsheet or a paper gradebook or whatever. Okay, I hope all of this has been helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any other questions. I'll see what I can do to help. Have a great semester.